our confidence is misplaced because of our ignorance. And growth takes care of ignorance. And that's why sometimes we lose confidence because we realize, I don't know what I'm doing.
We mostly focus in the idea we have, with the strategy we have, with the product we have created. We forget the leader that we have to become, so that the company can grow.
Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the 7X Growth podcast. We are here in the studio. My name is Gerold Joubert and I'm joined here with my great friend and business partner and co-host, Christian Nyembue.
Yay! Happy New Year!
Yeah. Are you going to say something?
No, it's a new year. I'm so excited to come back. And I missed this, just every week come and just, serve and give. So it's always good. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah.
And in 2024.
It's good to get all that knowledge out, all the things stuck in our brains. Otherwise, we go crazy. If your holiday is too long, then you go crazy because you get too many ideas and you're not doing anything.
Yeah,
maybe that's an entrepreneurial problem. People that are visionaries, they have such problems. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about leadership again today, but with a twist. Leadership with a twist. We're going to be talking about the impact of leadership on businesses, how leadership impacts businesses. And this is a very important topic to discuss because, as we've said in previous podcasts, that leadership is the number one reason why businesses fail. Statistically speaking, leadership is the number one reason why businesses fail. And I was thinking this morning back to my days in banking and all the businesses that I used to visit, and it's interesting how because I normally used to meet only with the directors and owners, the people that are in charge, because I had to do the banking documents and so on. And it was always interesting for me how that you can immediately sense the business characteristics by the person that you meet, and also how almost like a good feeling whether this business is going to make it or not, just based upon meeting the leadership in the business or the lack of leadership in the business. And so leadership definitely plays a vital role in this. Today we want to talk about how does leadership impact business, so that as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people, maybe to our listeners that want to start businesses, that they realize the importance of growing as leaders. This is a growth podcast, right? 7X Growth.
Pum, 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 pum.
We need to make an ad like that. But this is vital for all leadership, to understand the weight and the importance of leadership on the business, that your leadership style, your leadership growth, your leadership maturity, everything about your leadership affects your business. You cannot separate the two. And that's why it's important that leadership should be focused on. So, Christian, I want to start by asking you a question, right? A very deep question.
Is it a hard one?
What is your favorite color? No. Would you say that you have experienced this principle of leadership affecting or influencing businesses? And in what sense have you experienced this?
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe I should start by defining what is business, what I understand, what is leadership. Leadership is the ability to take decision. And any growth in the business start with the decision that you make. And then personally, the growth of the company, talking about Oxano 7, let's talk about Oxano 7, our growth was based on the decision that we'll be making as leaders. So I can say, based off the question that you just asked, if I have experienced that, I can say yes. As a leader, I have experienced the impact of me as a leader in the business, based off the like talking about the decision that you make every day. And then most of the time they are like hard decision. So leadership plays a very big role. And then when that goes with your strategy, the product, the changing, hiring people, firing people, changing product strategy, like all these things start with that. And if you as a leader, you don't have that ability to make decision, not good decision, but decision, because most of the time you will know that your decision is a good decision based on the result that is bringing.
But results come later.
Yes. So you can just say that, okay, it's the ability to make decision, a hard decision. Why? Because you really don't know the outcome of what is going to come, but you have to take that decision. You cannot have that fear of not taking decision. It might be, let's say, an example, like you have a product, and that's the idea that we have been working on building that product, just to find that that product doesn't work or it's not selling.
Yeah.
So you have to take a decision of it's whether you to change that product or remove it. I will give an example of Steve Jobs. When he was fired from Apple, he went out and there was the company Apple started to go down. Like, I think they said that they had only like something like 3 months of like the company before it to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
They bring him inside again. The first question was, what is the product here? What do you have here? Just to find that they had like over 100 product that they were pushing. And then, you know, big companies that are like them, it's more like each product need more fund, a lot of money to build those products. What he did, it was, okay, he bring people together in like the board, and then they started to discuss about each product. What is this? Is like why this? Until it took it to 5. And then that decision was very important. And the other decision, which was, okay, we have only 3 months. How can we get money now? And then that was, we have now to call people. And then to call it was to call Bill Gates, who was like enemy to them, to him personally. They were not getting along. So you see that all these decision, it's hard decision. So leadership, it's my ability to take hard decision, big decision, and sometimes it will go against my ego. It's going to go against what I know, so that I can save the business. And then he called Bill Gates. Bill Gates gave them the money. He called Nokia. Nokia sold them the software, or the model that we have with iPhone now. Like they bought it from there, and then together that made the company. Like those hard decisions, those decisive decisions, those big decisions, they are the one that made their company or Apple company to be where they are right now.
And that rests upon the leadership to make those decisions. Like it says, you know, in what was that first Spider-Man movie, the quote that we all know: with great power comes great responsibility. And many people think about leadership only as power, you know, that I get to do things, I get to make decisions. But with that power, there is responsibility. In fact, I would say it is almost reversed, that when you take on responsibility, you get authority, because you're willing to take those risks. And leadership is risky, very risky, because you are influencing and impacting not only your own life, but the entire business or the entire organization, and that is connected to other people. If you have people that you employ, those people's families are dependent on the business, their children, potentially even more family members, more communities. So there's a very large impact that the leader has to consider. Sometimes it's better not to think too much about how big this impact is. But yes, we need to, as leaders, be able to make difficult decisions, to implement strategies, to be swift, like you said, to make changes, to be willing to change and to make decisions that maybe are not popular.
Yeah, to be able to to let go of ourselves. Imagine that you put all your work in one product or in one service that we build, just to find that it's not working. So you have to take a decision. And here I would say there's a book that called Think Slow and Fast. In the book, the idea of the book is to know how to think slow and fast. But great leaders, they are the one who knows how to think slow. Sometimes some decision that we have to take more time than, as we're talking about leader, you have to go through all the options and then to see how it's going to impact the company in the long term of it. Because long-term decision have to be long-term impact. Have to take long to decide on that as well. But also, a leader must be able, for the business sake, to be able to take some quick decision. Also, so that the organization can continue, can move faster. Those decisions can be like, okay, there's something wrong with the organization. What's wrong? And how can we solve this problem? And then if the problem is employee or people who are working or are not competent, you can give them grace, but sometimes thinking faster can be firing them and change the team.
It's like what is Robert Kiyosaki says, that he hires fast and he fires fast. So because he understands the impact of leadership in the business to make those decisions. And sometimes, like you're saying, a quick decision or to think fast might be an opportunity that presents itself. Maybe a new client, a new investment, a new acquisition that you need to think quickly because there's other people bidding for the same thing. And if you don't act quickly, then you're going to miss out on this opportunity. Do we invest? Do we buy? Do we say yes to this client? Do we agree to this pricing? Do we employ this person? And on the spot, you need to be able to make that decision. But the impact of that decision ripples throughout the future of the whole company. Like you were talking about Steve Jobs, and I'm sure many of those, when he was on the phone with Bill Gates, like he made decisions quickly because it was those decisions on the phone that changed the company forever. If he made the wrong decision there, the company, we would have not known Apple. They would not have been a company that sells cell phones without chargers. Imagine that. Just imagine, that's almost unthinkable. But that the impact, it's and that's I want to work our way towards leadership development and why this is important because of the weight that it carries. And I was thinking about how this is an interesting thing, and I saw this, how a company will take on the characteristics of its leader. And you'll see this, right? And I've seen this when I visit certain companies, and let's say there's a person that I know is not a very honest person. They don't necessarily do everything above the table. And when you go into that company, you can see that it creates the leader's characteristic, and the leader's culture becomes the people's culture. And the way the people think is based upon how the leader behaves and how the leader thinks. Because the leader influences not only the company, but he influences the people in the company, which ultimately companies are people. And then it is, as the leader, the way the leader is, the people will become. And as the people become, so the company will also become.
Yeah.
And so I've seen how when I meet, for example, with a client that is very, very friendly, open, a very good to work with person, you can see, you walk into that company and the staff is the same way. They all greet you, they're all open, they're very warm towards you, and the company is doing well. Things are just working very well. And then you walk into other companies, the guy's office is dark, in some dodgy corner there, up there in the warehouse, and it's dusty, and you can see that things, and you see also the people, they avoid you. They avoid eye contact, they don't want to talk to you, nobody talks to you. It's like the leader directly impacts the culture of the company and also the character of the company. And that's, for example, going back to Steve Jobs, right? It is his influence that we can see still in the brand of Apple. It is the Steve Jobs imprint, because that's how he was. And so when a leader is not being developed, if a leader is not a good leader and they're not being developed or they're not growing, then the company will also take on that characteristic.
Yeah.
The company will not grow. The company will not change. The company will stay stagnant and also stay in a place where everything is not working well. It's like a car that doesn't want to do anymore. You have to fix here, fix there all the time.
Because actually business is it's kind of like decision making. We make a decision all the time. In which who we want to sell to, what we want to sell, how we want to sell it, what to make the change or what to move, and who, and which product to create, new product to create. But who take those decisions? The culture, how we want to be in the company, the temperance, the whatever love or things the environment. It's a leader. So it's very important. And if there's something wrong with the business, it's not the people, it's the leader. Why? The leader must be able to see that something is wrong and find how he can resolve that problem. And then if that problem is, like, for example, it's people, he must be able to fire or to change, to make that change quickly as possible so that the company can move.
Yes.
So the problem with organization or business, it's not really who are under, it's the top leader. Up there, that the one who have to be able to see you as a leader, you as an entrepreneur or a businessman or wherever in your organization. It's your responsibility. That's what I see is like it's the ability to make decision, big decision, strong decision, hard decision. It's the leader who decide the environment. As you said, like, if the leader is friendly, people will be friendly because people won't be scared, to do things around, even just smile to people. Yeah. You will know it. If the leader is someone who, I think you told this story already in some of the podcasts about the other job that you went, where you were supposed to sell. They
almost killed me there.
Yeah. So you see that that environment. It's the leader who set that environment for people. And you will know it.
Yeah.
So it's a very big place or very important things to think about and then to invest into. The problem is with leadership, I can say, is development. Especially when it comes to small business or startups, we mostly focus in the idea we have, with the strategy we have, with the product we have created. We forget the leader that we have to become.
Yeah.
so that the company can grow. So more you develop your leadership skill, more you learn. And then most of the time you will learn with your mistakes. Failing must be you. There's one leader or one I forgot the name. He said you must be able to fail quickly. You as a leader, you as an entrepreneur who's starting a business, you must develop that ability, that skill of failing quickly.
Yeah.
So take decision. If that decision is big, fail quickly. Stand up, change, and continue.
Yeah.
If you do that quickly, if you develop that side, you will grow your business quickly as possible. You will jump, because you'll be able, when you see, okay, this is not working, because most of the time the mistake we make is, no, let's give this one some time. You see it's not working, but you want to give it time. It's failing. It's the same thing with Apple. Like, they saw that they have 100 product, but they still wanted to continue with their 100 product, even if when they knew that they have only 3 months left for the functionality of that company, but they still wanted. So they must someone was supposed to come, who's Steve Jobs, to say, no, we cannot continue like this. We have to change things. And okay, we don't have money. Where can we get money? Who have money? Bill Gates have money. He's my enemy, but I'm going to call him. He called him, and Bill Gates was like, I'm not going to borrow you money, but I'm going to buy stocks. So this is two leaders who are taking decision. One, it took a decision to call someone that they're not in the good term. And then that's another leader who's responding to it by not borrowing, but buying stocks of his enemy. Those are two companies who are in.
The big thing that comes to my mind when what you're saying is pride. You know, I think as leaders, our real problem is that we are too proud to acknowledge that we need to grow.
Yes.
And then we become so fixed in our ways. Like, you can see there's a problem. You can see you made a mistake, but you don't want to acknowledge it. No, I was right. You guys are the problem. You didn't execute this plan well. No, the plan, you made a bad plan. Your decision was horrible.
Yes, fail
acknowledge
quickly.
it, change it, grow from it. But what I've seen, like with leaders, is that it becomes a battle of pride and ego. And like, for example, for Steve Jobs, like you said, to call Microsoft, Bill Gates, he had to swallow his pride.
Yeah.
To acknowledge to your enemy, we are going bankrupt. Bill Gates, on the other hand, he could have said, good, I have a position for you here. You can come and work for me. No, but he swallowed his pride and said, okay, I'm going to help you. I'll buy shares in your company. I'm going to buy stock in your company. But, it's like he could have just said, no, I want you guys to fail. In fact, are you having a hard time? Let's target them even more. But that factor of leadership growth starts with acknowledging that I need to grow. And as a leader, we have to grow consistently. You can never stop growing as a leader, because the moment that your company or your employees outgrow you, you might not be the smartest person, you might not be the most exceptional person in the room, but as a leader, you have to be the one that grows the most, that invests the most in your growth, and that is able then to sow into the other people and into the company that growth, because growth is change. And if you're not changing as a leader in a world that's constantly changing, you are going to be left behind. Your company is going to be left behind. Your people are going to become dissatisfied because you will not be able to lead them in the environment that is, because our work environment, the business environment is not the same. I mean, think about Oksana 7. How many times has our company's environment changed? How many times has our company's brand like be evolved, not the visual brand, but the internal branding.
Internal brand. Yeah.
How many times have we shifted and taken, the decisions on changing certain things and making adjustments here, making adjustments there, going from this to that, and the whole like environment, the characteristics of the company. As we grow, our company has grown significantly with us. But if we stop growing this year, right? If we say, well, this is it, we don't need to learn anything. We don't need to be mentored by anyone. We don't need to have anybody give input into our company. We don't need to do training for ourselves. We don't need to attend courses. We don't need to improve ourselves as leaders. This company will not see the end of the year.
I had a conversation just yesterday with another leader, a good friend of ours. So he asked me, what do you want to achieve or to do this year? I told him, I want to make money. And he was like, how to make money? I said, the company is doing well, Oxano 7. But I want to grow as a leader because more me as a leader, I grow, the company is going to grow.
Yes.
And then so I told you, no, I want to learn this, and these skills. I want to develop it. I want to become good expert in that because I believe that any person who's into leadership or any entrepreneur have to learn these skills for him to be able to succeed. So I gave him the straight answer. I want to make money. We are into business to make money. That's clear. How to make money, it's by me as a leader to grow.
Yes.
And that's the game. Simple. You have to grow because it's business is a competition. There's other people outside there who are doing the same thing. I will say, just give an example of podcasting. We have studios, we rent studio out, and we have offer service that we offer to people about the podcasting. But we had to see what's happening in the market and start to change our product, our podcasting. Okay, how can we do? Everyone now is just people rent, and then you rent or you go, they do the things. Okay, how can we promote? How can we do this? How can we? That you are growing based on the market outside there, because there's a competition. There's people who want to overtake the market. They want to be the leader of the market. You want to be the leader of the market, but the business will grow only if the leader is growing. And then the leader must be able to identify where to grow.
Yeah. That's
where to start. And then for you to identify where to grow, you have to know what is lacking, which skill the company need.
Well, sometimes you don't know, right? And that's why we need mentorship.
Yes.
That's why we need to have to surround ourselves with people that are better than us.
Yes.
Because then we can see, well, there's two ways. We can see, okay, this is what they are doing. I don't know how to do that, or I'm not that good at what they are doing. Obviously, I need to learn that. Or when you have somebody that's mentoring you or investing in you, they can say to you, okay, what's happening? Okay, you're doing this. Have you considered 1, 2, and 3? Or the other day, I heard you speaking to this client and you said this and this to him. Do you know that you should have said it like this more? Oh, okay, I didn't know that. How did you learn that? No, I took this course on, how to close deals or whatever. And then so there's sometimes, yes, we know where we need to grow, but sometimes there are blind spots that we don't see. And that's why it's important that we are surrounded with a good team. We're surrounded with a good network that is better than us. And also we have somebody that we can bounce off with. We can soundboard that somebody we can speak to, and they can reflect to us and say, I think maybe you can target this area in your life. Maybe you can work a little bit more on this. Like, this is good, but I know you can do better with this. So maybe try to take this course, or I read this book and it helped me a lot. So but that just being willing to grow already, it will set you in the right place where you'll surround yourself with the right people and you'll get the right information.
The ability of developing the slow thinking can help as well for you to find where there's a problem. Because what comes with slow thinking is you cut off all the noise. Your ability to, because sometimes the work of every day can just, make us busy and forget what's really happening. But if you have that ability of sitting back, you as a leader, just think about how the functionality of the company, what's going on. Go department by department. For example, we have 7X. So you start with the first X, second one, third one. You go, you see what's happening, and you go now outside the competition. What your competition are offering, and how are they doing it? How can you do better? And to see now the customer, because a customer can be someone who can help you to improve as well by having a discussion with that customer. How will you want this product to be? If you were in my place, if you were our company, what will you change? That goes as well with trying also, especially when it comes to like service-based product or services. If you can have a talk with your customer, or you can conduct a survey to ask question from your customer, how they would like to help you to grow your product, to change, to improve your product. And then that goes with you slowing down and thinking, now how can we change? And then that exercise, it can be difficult because we love fast life. Now, okay, we want to be busy. No, we're busy. We are working hard. You see? Hard work. So sometimes slowing down and then start to go in a point, and then even calling people, as you said, mentors, asking questions, having discussion. That's why a leader must be someone who's open to go out. Not only to go to talk about deals, to close deals, but just have a coffee with your mentor or with other entrepreneurs. Talk.
Yes.
When during discussion, people throw out things that they don't even think, that we're not even thinking about.
Yes.
While we're talking right now in this studio, there's things that are coming out, things that we didn't even think about. But as entrepreneurs, as leaders, more we think, more clarity comes. So put yourself in the light, and the more closer you go to the light, more clear you'll be seeing your blind spot. And then from that, be able to take the decision to change.
Well, definitely, this growth is a very big subject, and we'll definitely one day just do a podcast just purely on growth, because that's a whole topic to be discussed, and how to grow, why to grow, where to grow, all those kind of things. There's a lot. I think we did a podcast once on growth,
we have one
right in the beginning somewhere. I was as you were talking, I'm thinking about, in some other podcast we said that in talking about entrepreneurship, that most entrepreneurs or successful entrepreneurs say that it takes multiple business attempts in order to start a successful business. And for a long time, I kind of thought about it that it's because you have to try different businesses until you get a business that works. But now I kind of think that that's not why. I think it's not because you have to get it right, because there are people doing the same business idea that you failed at, but they're succeeding at it. What is the difference? The leader. The growth of the leader. So this is why it takes multiple business attempts, and that's why you can't say, well, cookie cutter, okay, you have to fail 5 times or 10 times before you can start a successful business. It's not about how many times you fail. It's not even about the failing. It's about the growth for you as an entrepreneur and as a leader. And failing is one of the greatest teachers in life.
Yeah.
If you have an open mind. And that's why some people, they fail, and they never do something successful because they're not learning from their failure. They're too proud to say, I'm just going to do it again, just in a different environment. Your leadership style is the same. The way you treat people is the same. The way you trying to sell your products is the same. You're just packaging it differently. But if you fail and you look, and like you're saying, and you think slow, and you approach it from an objective viewpoint, you stand back a little bit and say, wait a minute, why are those people succeeding but I failed? Maybe it was my decision making. Maybe it was the way that I handled the staff. Maybe it was the way that we structured the organization, the operations. Maybe it was the way we handled our cash flow. Like that failure should enrich us. And every time we fail, it should increase our ability to lead as leaders. And then when you have matured enough, yes, it doesn't really matter what business you start, you can make it a success. Because most of business, I would say as much as 90%, and this is just, me thumb sucking a number, but I would say as much as 90%, in my opinion, of the success of a business rests upon the leadership.
I always ask myself why even those big successful leaders, entrepreneurs, they still go to conferences, attend master classes. Why? It's because they want to cut their loss. They want to age the mistake. Because more you expose yourself in, that's why a leader who stays at home, sleep and wait for money to just come, which will just take like few hours. Like let's say won't take long.
Oui.
Huh?
Oui.
No, it's not going to take long. Oh, oui, French. It's not going to take long for that business to fail. Because more you go to conferences, more you go to master classes, more you expose yourself with other people who are into business. They don't have to be in the same niche or the same business than you. Just any business, you just going there, you will learn things that can save the things. And the problem is, sometimes people fail in the same thing just because they don't know.
Because also they didn't ask or they didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
If you pay attention to other people, you can learn a lot.
Yes. So pay attention. That's why growth is intentional. Growth is something that you have to plan it.
Yes.
Do you want to grow? Where do you want to grow? And plan to grow. In the beginning of this year, so I was like, I want to grow in 1, 2, 3. How am I going to grow? I have to do 1, 2, 3. Yes. Who can help me with this? This person can help me with this one. This person can help me with this one. I go to those people. Can you help me? How can I help you? I have to make sure that I clean my schedule, I clean things so that I make time, so that I can make time for my growth. So one of the number one, this is according to me, and I'm sure so many leaders there, they will agree, the number one skill that any entrepreneur or any leader can develop is focus. focus. Most of the time we fail because we are not focused. Because we are everywhere.
And entrepreneurs, that's like a disease.
Yeah.
Because you have, what do they call it? Shiny eye syndrome. It's like you're like a crow. Anything that shines, you want to go after.
You want to go after.
Oh, a new business, we know people like that, where it's one business opportunity to the next. And I had, like one of my uncles, he was like that in the past before he changed his life. But he has been everything under the sun, everything from police to traffic police. He's been a medic. He has been a tour guide. I mean, like, I don't even know all the things he has been in. He's been into mining. He's been like, and all those things were just like, okay, yeah, I can make quick money. Here I can, this is a good, or somebody comes, oh, this is a great business opportunity, and you jump it and jump and jump and jump and jump.
The problem might not be having, you are right what you're saying, especially when you are starting. Most big companies or big leaders, they have more companies. But what you do in the business game is to build one big asset. Focus on that one. Yes. Grow it.
Yes.
So in the business game, it's here, okay, you have asset. Now you have something collateral that you can offer you can show to a bank so that you can get fund to create more businesses. So you don't start like I know that some leaders or some entrepreneurs that say they're against diversification. Diversification is the way to go, because that can offer you as well that kind of stability in income and cash flow, but not when you are starting.
Yeah, the timing is important.
Yes, when you are starting, focus is your number one. That's why even for you to think slow, you have to focus.
Slow down.
Yes, slow down.
Do you know why people jump ship all the time? Like, why do they go? They diversify too quickly. Why? Because leaders don't want to go through the growth pains.
Yes.
There's different phases of business. There's the first phase, which is like, I see an idea, and for me, this idea looks easy and I can make a lot of money. So I jump into it. Then after some time, I realize that this is hard work. This is not easy and I don't see the results. Then and most people, that's where they quit, because they think, oh, this is a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. You just need to focus and push through the pain of work, of learning, because there's growth pains. Just because somebody else is doing something and it works, it doesn't mean it's going to work immediately for you. The problem is not the idea. The problem is you might not be in the same space as that person in their growth. Maybe they have grown a lot in that area. They know what they're doing. That's why they're succeeding. You come in as a newbie in the area and you try it and it doesn't work. And you're like, well, this doesn't work. No, it's not. The problem is not the thing. The problem is your growth.
That's why the first enemy or the problem is never outside. The problem,
unless there's a world war,
8% of the problem of any business or any organization or even our own personal life, 80% of the problem is us. So if you start, I don't know if you remember the conception that we spoke another time. We were talking to us about the Bible, I said that for you to grow in your understanding, you have first to understand your boxes. We have boxes. We have spot blind, or we have limit of our thinking, because our thinking is affected by environment, people, situation, all these kind of things. And then most of the time when we approach things, we approach it with that perspective, and we don't understand the business. We don't understand what is happening, even with your competition or in just in the business. Why? It's not because the business is bad, but it's because of the limitation that ourselves we have. So if we can start by understanding us, our boxes, we can think,
can grow.
We can go over those boxes. We can remove them, or we can jump, or we can, because we know them. So that's where to start. You know yourself, know whatever that can be the problem in the business. And then that problem can be greedy. That's why people they go a business after business, or they do different one. It's not bad to have ideas. If you have an idea, write down. What I do, I know sometimes, especially when I'm bathing, like things can just come,
How do you write it down?
No, after I get out of, I don't take time. After I get time, I always have papers around with everywhere. I have papers and pens everywhere in the table. So once I get out, I go and I write it down. And then from writing down, I can still come back and then go now, put it now in the system.
No shit.
Yeah, so that it can be there. That thing, it can be something that can help you later. Not really to do that business.
Yeah, everything is not for now.
Yeah, not really to do that business, but it can help you to improve your business that you have in too. Because let's say you can have idea about marketing business, and your business, you are into insurance. Let's say you're selling insurance. But okay, you can link now your marketing idea that you had with the insurance company scale. But in that moment, you just write down, you move on. You know, that's also, it's a process of thinking slow.
Yes.
Because when you are in excitement, when you are in like thinking, you think faster. And when you think faster, there's so many possibilities that come. So for you to calm down, it's just to take it down and write it down. When you come back, you will know that it was bad or it was good. You will know.
Yeah. I know sometimes I go through my old notes and things, and then you write down something like on Notion. I'll go back to my page of some ideas for like, for example, books that I want to write, or just different ideas. And I look, and sometimes you go back like a year or something later, and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? This is terrible. But that's a good sign, because also sometimes your idea needs to sit so that your growth can catch up to the idea. Because sometimes you're not ready for that idea. Because not every idea, just because you get inspiration for an idea, doesn't mean it's for now, right? And so we have to kind of allow that thing to sit until we grow enough so that we can justify the idea. Because if you execute too early on an idea, you will make it you will cause it to be a failure, because your maturity does not match the idea.
Yes.
That's why leaders, growth. If you want your company to succeed, you have to keep growing as a leader. You cannot leave leadership to anyone else. You cannot leave the growth to other people. You don't have to be the smartest or the greatest. In fact, you shouldn't be, but you must outgrow every other person in your organization.
Yes.
That is the key to success. That is the key to successful business. It is growing. So, Christian, as we close off, you have exactly 1 minute. I'm going to time you. Let me do this. Just let's play a fun game. 1 minute. I'll tell you. You hear me? 1 minute to, just off the top of your mind, for our listeners and our viewers, What is your number one tip for growth for leaders? Like if you could tell people, what can they start applying today to help them to start growing as leaders, to impact their companies? What would you say is that tip?
Focus.
That was 1 second.
Yeah. Like, focus, as I will repeat it again, the number one skill that any leader can develop now is the ability, the capacity to focus. Because focusing there is into your thinking, is into what you want to achieve, where you want your organization, your business to go.
How can they increase their focus?
The phone, internet, and all the noise that can come with all the other things that you want to achieve. I want to start this company. I want to start this. Cut certain things. I've started certain. Do I still have?
That's fine. Go.
Yeah, I started something that I do right now with my phone. When I noticed that I have a problem with my phone, I'm always in my phone, and where I want to get to, I don't have any time to waste. I have to focus. So I stopped with the phone. When I have my phone, I can answer to, because I'm an entrepreneur, clients can call, I want to make connection with people. There's a time that I do it, but there's a time that I focus only with my growth. Listen to podcasts, listen to other things, or being on the phone with someone that I know that can help me, a mentor or things. And then even the time that I'm into to like later, there's time that I can answer my phone or not. Like you limit and give yourself, I can say 1 or 2, 3 skills that you have to improve, to learn and focus in those skills. Because sometimes we can want to learn everything, Yeah. I want this, 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 I want this. We want to be smart. That's how we are.
There's a term for that. Jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
So focus in some of area that you can learn. I always tell people have a 5-year goal. 5 and 10. Every year goal takes you to the 5-year goal, and then grow from that. And then if we have something like that, every year you can grow 1 skill or 2 skills,
yes,
or 3, depending on your capacity and focus.
Yeah, focus. So there you have it, guys. Focus. If you drifted off, you're not listening to the podcast anymore. Focus. Get back to us. It's crazy when you look at statistics, how difficult it is for people to start and finish something as simple as a podcast. Just to listen. And I there's the tendency always to, you start listening to a podcast and then you get busy, you pause it, and then you just never. And sometimes I go like a week later, I open the podcast again because I want to listen. I'm like, oh, I never finished this. And then I have to almost start over because I can't remember.
I'm telling you.
So focus is very important, to set time aside. From my side, just 1 minute, I think I would mention 3 things that are very important for growth. The first one, which connects to your focus, is investment. To invest in yourself, to invest in your growth. To focus on investing, like you mentioned, 3 skills or something like that. So investment. But investment also has to go hand in hand with consistency.
Yes.
Because big investment once off is not as profitable as a little bit smaller investments, but more consistent. And then the third one is patience.
Yeah.
Because all growth takes time.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started off in my leadership journey in the church, somebody said to me, it takes about 10 years before you really start to even know what you are doing as a leader. And I was like, come on. I was still young, that's more than 10 years ago now. And I was thinking, rubbish, man. In true Afrikaan, true South African. And now, more than 10 years later, I look back and I'm like, I don't think 10 years is enough. I think it takes longer. Because the more you grow, the more you realize how little you know. And I think oftentimes our confidence is misplaced because of our ignorance. And growth takes care of ignorance. And that's why sometimes we lose confidence, because we realize, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So those three things, invest in yourself consistently and be patient, the growth will come. Thank you so much to everyone that listened today to this wonderful podcast as we discussed how leadership impacts business and the importance of leadership growth. I have been your host today, Gerold Joubert, with my co-host, Christian Nyembue. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please be free to share your own experiences with us and how maybe a workplace where you worked or a business that you tried to start and how you realized that leadership played a role in either the success or the failure of that business. And if you do have any comments or you would like to connect with us, just send us a DM on social media, or you can email us at Gerold@oxana7.com or Christian@oxana7.com, and we will get back to you. From my side, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Bye.